Hello viewer, thank you for clicking my video. Today I'm going to be ranking Denis Villeneuve's films. He is one of the best working directors today. He's made some of my favorite films, so I'm just going to rank him for some fun. Hope you enjoy the video. Number 11, August 32nd on Earth. This is Denis' first film and it's pretty easily his weakest. The film is about a woman named Simone who, after surviving a car crash, decides that she wants to have a baby. She asks her best friend Philip to be the father, but he will only agree if they get to do it in the desert. Yep, that's seriously the plot of the film. The story definitely isn't the film's strong suit. It is a strange film, but it's simple and it works about as well as that odd, weird concept can. The characters in the film are really just trying to find themselves and figure out who they are in this world. But it's just not that interesting to watch, in my opinion. I will say that the sequence when they are actually in the desert is quite good. It's a little funny. It's shot beautifully, and the film is well acted. I feel like there's just a lack of substance and just something missing to the film to really make it stand out and actually compete with his other films. It's an alright movie. The story's just not great. At least it's well directed. But all his other films blow this one out in a mile. What? 5 out of 10. Not really worth watching. Number 10, Maelstrom. Denis' second film is a large improvement over his first, but it still isn't amazing. Maelstrom is about an already depressed woman who gets into a hit-and-run accident and decides to drive her car into the ocean. She survives this and eventually forms a relationship with a man who happens to be related to the guy she killed with her car. And also the film is narrated by a fish. So yeah, it's quite a lot, this story, in such a short runtime as well. The story of the film isn't very complex. It focuses more on the main character and her experience with depression. What I liked about the film was when it would explore the connections between the characters, shared details like the restaurant having bad squid because the guy who collects the squid was the one she hit with her car. That's a great little detail. The relationship between the leads is decent enough, and I liked how they were able to help each other through these low points in their lives. Also, I need to talk about that fish. This fish narrates the movie which is a contrast of hyperrealism and this fantasy elements that come from this talking fish. It's definitely creative and brought something unique to the movie, but overall, while it's decent enough, it's just nothing great. Just a fine movie. 7 out of 10. Ninth place, Polytechnique. Polytechnique was Denis' return to filmmaking after a 9-year break, and it was definitely a large improvement in his directing. Polytechnique tells the true story about the 1989 Montreal massacre, where a misogynistic gunman attacked the Polytechnique University, separating the men from the women and killing only female students, or targeting only female students. This is a dark and disturbing film that is able, for the most part, accurately capture the events that happened. And while the film is able to capture this dark feeling, it also just feels very empty, like there's much substance outside of the horrors, and it doesn't leave much of an impact after the film is over. Denis' directing has vastly improved since Maelstrom. He places much more emphasis on the film's cinematography and visuals. It's a very well-directed film, but doesn't leave much to offer other than its direction and cinematography, and I guess maybe just the horrors. But after that, I don't know, there's nothing else to it, really. 7 out of 10. Number 8, Sicario. I know this is going to be a hot take, having this film so low. I think it's still a good movie, but I'm really not connecting it to the way so many others seem to be. Sicario is about an FBI agent taking a job working on the drug war on the US-Mexico border. Something I loved about the film is Denis' directing. The border crossing scene in particular is one of the most intense scenes of all time. The story and direction is very grounded and created very realistic action, realistic sequences. The realistic nature of the film is what is happening is so well done, which is what creates this intense atmosphere. The cinematography by Roger Deakins is incredibly beautifully shot. The sequences near the end of the movie where they're going to a tunnel with the bright background contrasting with the shadows just looks amazing. The acting in the film is great. I do really like Benicio del Toro's performance. Emily Blunt was fine. The story really focuses on the corruption, and it's an interesting angle to explore with how realistic this movie is depiction of the drug war. My main problem with the film, which prevents it from being higher up on the list, is that I just can't connect or really get invested in the story. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I feel like I'm just getting blocked in some way. While I can appreciate the directing, the story, and how it's made, I'm just not being able to get into it. I don't know what it is. And I feel like maybe it was a little bit too slow as well. And I just couldn't really feel the stakes a lot, which really brings it down to me because so many intense sequences. But it found me feeling the stakes and caring for the characters and what's happening. It just doesn't affect me as much as something as it could if I actually really actually cared, you know? It's still a good movie, very well directed, but the story is just missing something. 8 out of 10. Number 7, Enemy. This one's a little freaky. Jake Gyllenhaal plays two characters. One of them, Adam Bell, is a college professor who discovers an actor named Anthony Clare who looks exactly like him. Adam becomes obsessed and tries to make contact with Anthony. This film is very weird, surreal, bizarre story. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance is fantastic. The two characters are played so well. Melanie Laurent was also incredible, playing Anthony's fiancée. The basics behind the story is so simple, but it's interesting enough, and the short runtime really helps make the film so fun and engaging and a little intense towards the end. The way these two characters treat each other and how they both end up scheming to sleep with each other's partners is really interesting kind of depiction of this masculinity between them. And the film is just so interesting and unpredictable. It doesn't take the obvious routes that you would expect in the story like this. And what really pushes the movie past Sicario, for me, was how unpredictable and engaging the film was. Even Sicario could be better directed, better written than this. This film is just so much more original and engaging. And the ending with the jump scare, holy shit. Crazy movie, a lot of fun. Sicario might be a better film, but this is just so much more memorable to me. 8 out of 10. Number 6, Dune Part 1. Really stepping up in quality here. Dune Part 1 is an amazing film. The story of Paul Atreides, heir to House Atreides. His father is given ownership to the dangerous desert planet of Arrakis. This is an incredible, epic film based on one of my favorite novels, and Denis was able to adapt it pretty much perfectly. What I love about this film is how detailed the world feels. It takes its time building up the setting, characters, and the world to really make it feel real, like a real world that you can get sucked into. The film's score and sound design are both incredible. When you watch these movies in the cinema, the use of the voice feels like it's actually attacking you. The soundtrack adds so much to the film. It's so unique with this like alien opera singing. The cinematography, holy hell, it's phenomenal. So many wide shots really help the audience feel invested in this world. Absolutely breathtaking shots in this film. I could praise pretty much every element of the film, from the editing to the production design. Every aspect is absolutely top notch, but I need to mention this film's visual effects, which are just incredible. Some of the best in film history. Denis' directing is amazing. This Oscar snub is ridiculous. To me, he brought so much life into everything. All the action and large set pieces felt so real. When the movie came out, a lot of people complained about the film's ending. Personally, I think this is the perfect point in Paul's arc to stop the story. The ending sees Paul kill a man for the first time, which is important considering the absolute warmonger he becomes, to the point where he is willing to sacrifice, pretty much create a cultural genocide, a holy war, just so he can have his revenge on some people and get some power. And After he kills this guy, his attitude completely shifts as he joins the Fremen, so this was a perfect point to end the story. There's so many incredibly well-made scenes in this film, so I only mention one more. The box scene, one of the most iconic scenes from the book, and it's brought to film in such an engaging and intense way. There's just so much I love about this film. I used to have it as a 10 out of 10, and way higher on the list, but unfortunately, everything I love about this film is just done so much better in Dune Part 2, from editing, visual effects, cinematography, the score, the acting, the directing, everything is just better in that movie. Like, going back looking at this film, it just doesn't leave the same impact as it used to. But it's still amazing. Very, very good. But only 6 best. 9 out of 10. Fifth place, On Sundays. The first truly great film Denis made. On Sundays is about the two siblings who, after the death of their mother, travel to the Middle East to discover their lost brother and father, while we also simultaneously get flashbacks to the mother's life of growing up in the Middle East. This is a very dark but also incredible film. What's amazing about the film is its realistically dark depiction of Eastern conflicts. I mean, this is a movie where if you are not in the right headspace going into it, it could honestly ruin your week. You see people getting shot, murdered, burnt to death. It does not hold back in its depictions of violence. The acting in this film is incredible. There is this single moment with a gasp in this movie that could literally haunt your dreams. And despite these horrors and violence we witness in the Middle East, the violence is not what ruins you. What ruins you completely is the film's ending and the twist, which I will not spoil, but it's so shocking. Just an amazing twist. It's so dark, messed up, it will not leave your head. That final scene just leaves you feeling so cold and empty. This is a movie you will never forget. Incredible film. I'm not spoiling anything about it. You must see this if you have not already watched it. 9 out of 10. Number 4. Blade Runner 2049. Another near-perfect film. Blade Runner 2049 is an incredible sequel to Ridley Scott's sci-fi classic. Blade Runner 2049 is about Officer K, played by Ryan Gosling. He has discovered the possibility that a replicant can reproduce. He then has to go on a mission to find the child, which he believes could be himself. And to be honest, I am not actually a big fan of the original film. I think it's well made, has some interesting ideas. I like the themes, but I find it way too slow. And some moments like that sexual assault scene is really just aged poorly. This film, on the other hand, is so much better in my opinion than the original. The presentation alone just makes this movie a masterpiece. This film is what finally got Roger Deakins his well-deserved first Oscar, and might be one of the best looking films of all time. The film's colors are so vibrant and stunning. The different colors in different environments, like the bright orange in Vegas, makes the film so beautiful and leaves each environmental area to really stand out. Deakins plays with the lighting in such interesting ways. I love how he uses realistic light sources in the film's real world, like the finale, keeping everything so grounded. So many shots are wide shots, which emphasizes Kay's space in the world, and kind of like his loneliness and isolation, which is really Denis' key theme, isolation. And it just looks incredible. The visual effects in this film are so impressive. The scene where it's like the hologram and the arm is placed over a real person, just mind-blowing. This little, so realistic looking, like how are they making this? It's just amazing, blowing my mind. All these little details and shit. So many scenes in this movie are just so incredibly well made. I love the Elvis scene where Kay and Deckard are fighting, and they just keep getting interrupted by this Elvis hologram scene. Can't help falling in love. the constant interruptions through his glitchy hologram. I can't really explain it, but the scene is just perfect to me. The story's themes of humanity are explored much better here than in the original, making us question our reality of our main character and exploring this through side characters like Anna de Armas' hologram. The film is just so rich in detail and just thought-provoking kind of ideas about what it really means to be human. And this film is just so close to perfection to me. I just found the start a little too slow for me, but I am so confident that on a rewatch I will not be bored at all or find the start of the film slow at all, and I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. But for now, it's still a 9 out of 10. Before I continue with this list, make sure to like and subscribe if you've been enjoying the video so far, and just comment what you think about Denis as a director, share your own rankings. Yeah. Third place, Arrival. What an incredible film. Arrival tells the story of linguist Louise Banks, who takes the lead in an investigation on how to communicate with alien spacecrafts that have just landed around the globe. What a brilliant and unbelievably good film. The ideas that the film explores about language and communication is just so interesting, really makes you think. And I believe that sci-fi is really at its best when it's getting to actually think about life and ourselves, which is what this film achieves. Just like unbelievable, just language. Honestly, man, language is crazy. The fact that we're speaking like this, have this all this shit, is crazy if you really think about it. So many languages, whatever. Amy Adams' performance is so layered and emotionally strong. The directing by Denis is incredible. Visually, this movie is perfect. To get to what I really love about this film, I need to get into spoilers. So if you have not seen this film, skip to the next entry on this list. But what I really think is incredible about this film is that twist. That the flashbacks we are seeing throughout this film are not flashbacks, they are the future. This is a genius twist. It plays on our expectations of a film story. It doesn't explicitly tell us this is a flashback, they show us the scene, and based on other movies the audience has seen, we think, oh, that's a flashback, that's the past. But no, it's not. It's the future. The aliens are giving them the ability to see through time. That's what they're here for. It's genius. It's just, oh my god. The ability to see through time is explored so well in this film. I absolutely love the climax of the movie. It's brilliant. The scene where Luis is calling the Chinese president and telling him what she sees him telling her in the future and telling him on the phone. It's just genius storytelling and one of my favorite scenes in a movie. The way to seeing through the future is explored in this film and with its climax is just amazing. And even just through that, this kind of emotional bond between her and Jeremy Renner's character, and kind of the idea about whether or not it's worth going through with their relationship, having a kid, even though she knows it will end badly, and they still do it. It's just, oh, it's just perfect, to be honest with you. 10 out of 10. In second place, Dune Part 2. The sequel to Dune Part 1 and Denis' most recent film. This one tells the story of Paul Atreides. Now, with the help of the Fremen, he seeks revenge against the people who betrayed his family. This film takes everything that's amazing about the first one and takes it to the next level. The cinematography even better. They expanded on the universe and got creative with how to visualize these different worlds. The Guidey Prime scenes with the bright white colors look stunning. The style of the film's bright orange just looks incredible. As a character, Paul becomes much more layered and heavily changes as he buys into these prophecies and he treats himself as the Messiah. He becomes less likable and less human. They really were able to emphasize Paul's villainy in this film much more than the book did, which was great because a lot of people did not understand this point in the book. Timothée Chalamet's performance is incredible, much better performance than the movie he was actually nominated for an Oscar for. The directing in this film by Denis is unreal. The amount of effort and detail put into every shot and every sequence is not possible, in my opinion. Easily Denis' best directing, especially considering how large-scaled everything is. It feels like a movie that no one else could have a chance of directing as well as he did. The final duel between Paul and Fedorova is just brilliant. It's so quickly paced and grounded in a realistic approach. I love the choice to not include music, making every hit stand out and making us feel like we're with the characters. The riding the sandworm scene is one of the best cinematic experiences you could have in your life. The sound design in this scene is unreal. Like, you can actually feel your seats start to rumble with the sandworm approaching. The editing and pacing of the scene is brilliant, but the best part of the scene is when Paul starts to stand on the worm. This whole scene has no music, but when he begins to stand up, the music kicks in sync with his foot, and it's just perfect. Another big improvement over the first film is the action. In the first movie, it's really small little moments, and they feel like kind of comic-y, cartoony, but this film, like I was saying about a lot of other Denis films, it's so grounded, it feels more real, but it also feels more grand scale and epic. The ending of the movie as well is amazing. Hans Zimmer's score just kicking in, and how it's left slightly open-ended. And even though I've read the next book, I still feel like this leaves a lot of possibilities for which way the story can go. And it's just a perfect ending of the movie. I love it, love it, love it. This film is just rich in detail, feels so alive. And Denis' directing takes this film to another level, and just incredible directing. This is a perfect and epic sci-fi film. 10 out of 10. But there's still one movie I like more. This, in my opinion, is Denis' best film. Prisoners tells the story of Keladova. His daughter gets kidnapped, and he is not happy with the police efforts in finding his daughter. So he decides to kidnap and torture the only suspect, being a mentally challenged man named Alex Jones. What I love about this film is that it just gets going a couple minutes in, and it does not slow down. For 2.5 hours, this film is so intense and you cannot even feel that runtime. This is one of the most intense films ever made, and this is created by this dark and cold atmosphere from the film's environment, matched by these absolutely raw and brutal performances. Hugh Jackman's performance just feels so real and full of rage. Jake Gyllenhaal's character feels so hyper-focused. Paul Dano just feels so vulnerable. Every cast member of this movie played their role perfectly. This cinematography is incredible, once again by Roger Deakins. The lighting, how practical it all is, making the in-universe lights stand out and feel so breathtaking. That sequence near the end, driving to the hospital, won't go into detail about spoilers, and how the lights just stand out with the rain. It just looks amazing. Many scenes in the movie involve these framing devices like doorways, windows, making the film so claustrophobic, adding to the intensity. The story of the film is just unpredictable. The third act and the way all these little subplots from the movie come together is so rewarding. And once we discover what has happened, it then creates this third act that has me completely on the edge of my seat. Just amazing third act. I will not spoil this movie, but the final scene is just so perfect. It's intense, it's suspenseful, and it's just an ending like no other film has ever achieved. I love this movie, and I don't want to talk about the film too much to avoid spoilers, but I can really go on and on and on about why it's one of my favorite films of all time. 10 out of 10, and absolute must watch if you haven't seen it. And yeah, that's about it. Like and subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Adios.